Welcome to the chapter Reading and Analysis of Maps.
This slide presents the overview of the chapter.
Now, let us look at the evolution of maps. Maps by Sumerians. Maps by Babylonians. Maps by Hecataeus. Ptolemy World Map. Al-Idrisi World Map. World Map according to Chinese. World Map according to the Bible. Click each tab to know more. Maps by Sumerians. Sumerians are the ones who brought the first human civilization to the world's history. Some of the earliest maps made by Sumerians about 4,000 years ago were imprinted on clay tablets. Their main intention in using maps was to store the records of the income obtained from the lands. Maps by Babylonians. Babylonian present-day Iraq people made some of the earliest world maps. Around 2,600 years ago, the Babylonian people assumed the shape of the world to be a round disk and thus created maps as a round disk with the inner circle of map showing all the cities, mountains, villages, rivers, ocean of their places. The city of Babylon was shown in the middle. Beyond the inner circle was Bitter River or saltwater ocean in which were 7 triangular islands. Maps by Hecataeus. Around the same time, Greek geographers named Anaximander, Hecataeus of Miletus, now in Turkey, and Herodotus also prepared world maps by arranging places from east to west and north to south. Their ideas were similar to the Babylonians, who believed that the earth was a round disk surrounded by ocean river. They traveled widely and noted down the details of the land, people, and their histories, etc. Based on the details, they prepared maps and placed Greece in the middle of the map. They even divided world into 3 main continents. They are Europe, Libya, and Asia. The Greeks and the Romans were very much interested in making maps since they wanted to conquer the whole world and also wanted to carry out trade relationships with other places. For example, Alexander, who was a Greek king, wanted to conquer the whole world, came to India about 2,300 years ago. These maps were very useful to him. The Greeks tried to make maps more accurately through the use of latitudes and longitudes. The process of preparing latitude and longitude lines took almost 2,000 years to draw the correct lines. Ptolemy World Map. One of the famous Greek scholars named Claudius Ptolemy contributed a lot to the analysis and design of maps in the ancient time. He prepared accurate world maps using latitudes and longitudes. World maps prepared by Ptolemy and other Greek geographers gave clear information about Europe and other neighboring countries. They also placed Greece or Rome in the central position of the map. Al-Idrisi World Map. Al-Idrisi is the name of a famous Arab map maker who prepared a world map for his king in 1154. On his map, the legends were written in Arabic. His map showed the Eurasian continent completely with some parts of the African continent. World map according to Chinese. Just like Al-Idrisi, the Chinese geographers also started preparing maps for their emperors. In the Chinese map, China is placed at the center, Europe with a compressed edge and halfway round the globe, and mapping of Africa was done with respect to Indian Ocean. World map according to the Bible. The first world map which was made according to Bible is shown on the screen. The map divides the land into three continents, namely Asia, Europe and Africa, which are surrounded by oceans. Asia was placed at the top as it is considered the largest and the most important continent among others, because it had Jerusalem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Moreover, Europe and Africa were shown in smaller sizes at the bottom. Maps down the ages. Thus, around 1480s, the Europeans observed that the Ptolemy's books provided accurate location of places. 15th century is the time when discovery, exploration, and importance of maps increased to a great extent. This helped to prove that the earth was not a flat disk but a sphere like a ball. Mercator projection. In the 16th century, Gerardus Mercator 1512 to 1594, known as the father of Dutch cartography, carried out proper work on maps. His projection on maps is called Mercator projection. The maps which we use today are based on this projection. We all know that the world is like a ball, and when we draw it on a paper, only the flat surface will be shown. Such representation causes distortions in the shape of continents and distances. Therefore, for the correct directions and shapes of continents, Mercator shaped a method but with distortion of sizes and directions. This method came to be known as Mercator projection. Now, let us look at the topic map making at the time of colonization. When the European power made Asia, Australia, North and South America as their colonies, they sent map makers to those places to know properly about the climate, crops, people, resources, etc. Slowly, they explored the world and prepared various maps and obtained useful information which helped the colonial powers in establishing their power. When Britishers ruled India, they started making detailed maps of the interiors of our country. To carry out the survey processes in our country, they established a department called Survey of India. At that time, James Rennell was appointed as the Surveyor General. He prepared one of the first survey-based maps of India. In the year 1802, William Lambton started one of the most important geographical surveys in the world. This survey started from Chennai in the south and ended in the Himalayas to ascertain the heights of different places. Sir George Everest concluded the survey and recognized that Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world. Note: the highest peak, Mount Everest, was named after Sir George Everest as he was the first person to measure its height. The map making was also in great demand at the time of wars. Maps were widely used during the first two world wars. The armies and the air forces used many detailed maps and maintained them secretly. Now, let us learn about thematic maps in detail. A thematic map is a type of map or chart especially designed to show a particular theme connected with a specific geographic area. These maps might represent physical, social, political, cultural, economic, sociological, agricultural, or any other aspects of a city, state, region, nation, or continent. The main objective of a physical map is to show landforms, water bodies like lakes, rivers, and oceans, and other geographical features which include mountains, deserts, and lowlands as well. The political maps give information regarding countries, states, capitals, districts, mandals, etc. There also exist land use maps that show the use of lands. Suppose in a village some parts of the land is utilized for raising food, crop, while some other parts are for residential purposes. In a land use map, different kinds of symbols, colors, and patterns are used to show different purposes of land usage. The table on screen shows the color code used to represent the land cover and land use in maps. Maps can be used to show the population of continent, country, or state. Population density maps are those maps which are used to show the population through shading. We first estimate the total number of people living in a place. Then we measure the area of the place and then divide the number of people by the area of the place. For example, if area of the place is 100 square kilometers and 10,000 people live in it, then the population density of the village is 100 per square kilometer. Let us now see how relief features are represented on a map. Relief features are the features related to the landscape of a particular area. They include all the major physical features of the earth like mountains, plains, deserts, plateaus, and islands. As heights of places cannot be represented on a flat map, a special symbol called contour or contour line is used. Contour lines. A contour line is a line joining the places with some common features. Contour lines are also called as isolines. Contour lines will be irregular in shapes depending upon the land form. Now, let us perform an activity on match the following. Select suitable answer from group B for group A and drop it in bracket provided against A. Now, let us do a drag and drop activity. The table on the screen gives the population density of some states of India according to Census 2011. Observe the table and color the states in the map according to the density of the population as given in the index by dragging and dropping the brush onto the map. According to the Census 2011, the density of the population in some states of India is listed in the table.
Knowledge check. Attempt the following questions to check your understanding.